This is TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. It's August 1st. I'm your host, Steve V. Let's go with co-host Lincoln. How you doing, Lincoln?
I'm doing well. From New York City. I am here. I am surviving.
Because you're a survivor, baby.
I am.
Yes. And joining us live from Atlantic City is Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. Hell, and why the fuck are you there?
Why are you there?
Hello, darling. I am a Jersey boy at heart, honey. That's why I'm in the lovely Atlantic City right now, looking at the Hard Rock and Bally's and a Ferris wheel and all kinds of craziness, because it's crazy out there in them streets. It is very busy here. Okay?
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
I bet. Well, it's summertime, so I have no doubt you were there with your mother.
Yes.
Do tell.
So,
Oh, nice.
my last week was my birthday, and my mom said, I know you have lots of things and events planned for your birthday, so make sure the week after you should just come down to Atlantic City. You and Joe. Joe is here as well. They're both at the casino together. I know, so cute, right?
Yeah, that's very cute.
So she said,
it's the dream.
Yeah. You and Joe
It's the
come
dream.
down. Joe is my boyfriend, by the way, everybody who doesn't know.
We know.
I know you know, but maybe some of the listeners don't know who Joe is.
There could be a new listener.
Exactly.
Good point, guys.
So my mom said, you and Joe come down. We'll spend the night, 2 nights, however many nights you want in Atlantic City. We'll play some games. We'll go to the beach. We'll have a grand old time. Bring some liquor.
Oh, God. That's funny.
I suspect there's plenty of White Claw you brought in the bag.
Actually, I have a rosé and sangria,
Okay.
darling.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm living classy with my mother, darling.
It's so funny because Lincoln and I are both originally from the West Coast. So at least, I don't know for you, Lincoln, but for me, it was always Vegas. And
Yes.
the closest place that would be comparable to Atlantic City would be Vegas. So I've never been to Atlantic City, but I hear it's fun. Have you been to Vegas, Kodi? And is there... I mean, it's different, yes or no?
It's
Or the
different,
same?
but it's very similar. It is
Okay.
very, very similar.
It is.
But Atlantic City, honey, she is something else. I told Joe, because he's only been here one time when he turned 21 with his aunt and his grandmother. So I told Joe, because Atlantic City, it has gone down since, especially in the past years with recession, and then COVID hit. So a lot of things have changed here. I was like, after dark, honey, we are staying in the hotel. We are not going anywhere and doing anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
watch a lot of those murder ID channel stories.
Okay, we don't have to go there so quickly. But it's just...
I know. I'm on one of those kicks right now, and so please don't stay inside and be safe, but enjoy. Lincoln, you got COVID yet again?
I did. I got COVID again. Isn't that weird? I had it at the 3rd of July. I was diagnosed with COVID. I did the medication called Peter Paxlovid. I cannot say Peter's next to me. I cannot say the word Paxlovid without
That's a hard word.
Paxlovid. It sounds like a Russian soup. Paxlovid.
I mean,
Paxlovid. Paxlovid. By the way, can I just tell a really quick Vegas story? Did I ever tell this on the show? It's such a good story. It's just very small. So, Kodi, first of all, I love that you're doing that with your mom, because when I moved to New York City in 1996, my mom said, fine, I'm finally getting used to you moving across country, but we're taking a family trip before you go. We decided to go to Vegas.
Nice.
And we went to It's the only time I've ever been in Vegas. And we were out on a night and we heard like gunfire.
Oh, no.
And we were like, what the hell is going? So we just skipped it. We went back to the room. And the next morning it was in the news that Tupac was shot.
Oh, no.
Isn't that crazy? It's just such an eerie, and it's the only time I've ever been to Vegas. Isn't that just the weirdest?
Shut
It's
that
just the
is
weirdest
the
thing.
only time.
I know. And we went and saw the Hoover Dam, which recently had an explosion. It's weird. Anyway, it's a very weird story. But enjoy the time with your mom. That's very cool that you have that. And that Joe is there is really cool. I know it won't. Don't worry. You're perfectly fine. So I had COVID on July 3rd, and I got over it. I actually, last Tuesday, a week ago from today, I was walking down 6th Avenue and I said, why not? And I did a rapid test and I did a PCR test and I was negative. That was a week ago tomorrow.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Peter got COVID, turned COVID positive this last Wednesday.
Oh.
Wednesday morning, he got up. He didn't feel good. Oh, he talked to the doctor. Tuesday night, he didn't feel good. And we found out he was positive. And, I thought I just had it, so it doesn't matter. And that's what everyone said around me as well. Like I stayed at the bakery more than home, but we still slept in the same room and I was negative all week. Every day I tested, I was negative all week. And then on Saturday night, I had like a burning throat in the middle of the night. But I thought it was just something I drank because I drank a lot of tequila like that. I thought maybe it's just that, you know what I mean? And that next morning, bam, positive.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I'm out of teaching for a week. There's COVID pay through the gym. And I'm doing limited bakery hours. No one's allowed in the store, but you can order online. And I'm passing off packages at the door. If people order it online or come to the door, I can ring them up. And the doctor said all that was good with an N95 mask and just, so I'm annoyed. It's just really annoying because I don't feel bad, but I sneeze like crazy. And every once in a while I go, it's the stupidest cough. It's like,
I love that. We had a listener, Martin. We had a listener from out of town visiting, and he tried to go to the protein bakery this morning, and he said it was closed. And I said, yes, Lincoln tested positive for COVID, so that's why.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he wishes you well, as we all do. Get better
thank
soon.
you.
And feel better for sure.
Thanks.
Tomorrow is the countdown because, as I said on Tags Live last Wednesday, I am doing speed dating here in New York City, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I can't believe it. I'm going to this thing tomorrow. Bought my ticket, and today I had to upload a photo and fill out a little profile, which should be fun. My sister's, I think, more excited than I am, but I'm really this is going to be fun. Apparently it's their biggest event of the season. And we're going to talk about monkeypox in just a second. This is something safe that I can do. I can sit across from somebody, 5-minute dates per visit. And I think it's going to be fun. So
that's exciting. What an adventure, no matter what. You know what I mean?
An adventure and lots to talk about on the show afterwards.
I was going to say stories. Oh, yeah. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
My sister's like, you're doing this for the show. I know you are. I said, I am, but I'm also going to get into it and put on my little outfit tomorrow and get there early, and I'm going to get into it.
And what if this is your great love story and you can tell
And what if it's my great love story?
Exactly.
The greatest. No, I'm not going to sing Whitney.
Oh, okay. Oh, adventurous, honey.
Yeah. Give me a Kylie song before a Whitney Houston song. Okay. Thank you very much. Well, there is so much going on. We are a gay sex podcast at the core. Even though we talk about a bunch of stuff, we've got to talk about monkeypox. And San Francisco and our city here in New York have declared monkeypox a public health emergency. And I was watching a bunch of news stories today and over the weekend about what that really means when just a city declares a public health emergency versus, say, the entire state or the entire country. And it means that those particular cities then get more funding or more vaccines, more importantly, and testing, which is really kind of what we need right now, testing. And it reminds me a lot of COVID back in the day. I mean, like we're reliving this. The World Health Organization has also informed men who sleep with men, I put myself in that category, to reduce the number of sexual partners that you have during this period. And a lot of people are finding that they're not getting the vaccines in cities outside of San Francisco and New York, and they're having to go, say, in Seattle to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
They're making the way over there because there's more vaccines over there in Canada. And I guess the first question, because there's a lot to talk about, I'm going to go down the checklist of this, is do you think that the US has missed its window on monkeypox? Because we knew this was a problem in Europe and the potential that it had. Now it's affected our community for sure, and the potential risk of hitting other communities, of course, the general public. But did we miss the window, Lincoln, on this in your eyes?
No, I don't think so. I think we could, like everything in the world, hindsight is 2020. We could have done it sooner. Certain things could have clicked into motion quicker. The world's kind of on fire right now, if anyone hasn't noticed. Between environment and war and COVID and economies and the heat wave, and it's all over the place. So could we have done it sooner? Sure. I think that there was some issue with getting enough vaccines in the first thing from Denmark or whatever. I do not know the actual story, but I think that there was a mistake there, and we make mistakes. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was an intentional mistake. I don't think there's a conspiracy thing happening, or we have to think. There's so much to worry about now. More vaccines are on their way to New York. It's going to be hard through the rest of the country. Remember, you also have to have sex that's unprotected and be really out there. I mean, there's a lot of cases in New York City and now in San Francisco, but I don't know how many cases there are in Oklahoma or, you know what I mean, the rest of the world. So let's just be smart as we move forward, because we can get through this and it's never too late.
I love that positive outlook, and I agree with it too. I do sort of feel we missed the mark a little bit, and it does remind me a little bit of COVID back in the day when you would hear about cases in other parts of the world and you were just wondering, like this looming cloud moving towards you, are we prepared for this? And this kind of reminds me of it, Kodi. Do you think that we sort of missed the mark?
I kind of do. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, good.
I was just going to say, I kind of do. I agree with what Lincoln said. I think that, this is the thing. We have addressed it in the timeliness and the fashion that we are accustomed to. But because we are in a pandemic right now, because of COVID, we should be hyper vigilant as far as this is concerned. I think it would make us even more prepared so that monkeypox wouldn't get out of control. And I feel like we didn't jump on it as soon as we could have, and it makes me feel like they didn't take it seriously because it was gay men that were mostly contracting monkeypox in the beginning.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying as well, because, quote, this is a quote, waiting and seeing does not take into account how infectious diseases work, and very differently from COVID, we did have the tools. We have a vaccine that's 85% effective and an antiviral that has been shown to be safe in humans. And so I do think in some ways, I'm glad that we're steamrolling out these vaccines, and many of my friends have gotten them here in cities like New York and LA and San Francisco, which I'm glad to see. But if people are jumping out of Seattle to go to Canada, that makes me worried. And I just hope that everyone can get the vaccination and is safe with this. There is a Reddit thread related to this, and somebody wrote, I'm torn on the monkeypox vaccine profiling. Quote, I'm fortunate enough to live in LA County. I've been on PrEP for years. I qualified to get the vaccination, so I went and got it yesterday. However, I feel rather guilty about getting it. I hate how sexually active gay males are being profiled right now. This is his opinion, you guys. So, however, it's obvious this is spreading like wildfire through the community. I feel like I should have waited until this was available to the general public so I could do my part to not enable the profiling. However, people were cruising Grindr, literally standing in line for the shot.
Wow.
I heard that before here in New York as well. I hate to say it, but I feel like the profiling is justified. I participate in casual sex just like anyone else does, but Jesus effing Christ, sometimes moderation is warranted. I'm truly torn if health agencies are handling this correctly by the profiling. Curious if everyone else has thought. There was some interesting thoughts on this. I'll read a couple of them, but do you think, Kodi, there's profiling going on?
Oh, for sure. I watched a Instagram reel today. I know we talked about Instagram reels the other day. It popped up on my feed automatically. And what was it going to do? Turn away from it? No, that's not going to happen. But I saw a reel and it was saying that some of the questions on as far as the intake of the monkeypox monkeypox vaccine are concerned, it's like, oh, are you a slut? Oh, it's kind of slut shaming people. It's not that drastic, but it made them feel like as if they were calling them a slut, basically. So I think that, yeah, there's a lot of profiling going on. And I think that we could all do better as far as normalizing casual sex. And you mentioned earlier that men that have sex with men should take down their sexual partners. And I was like, I thought to myself, my first instinct and my first thought was, do I have to go down to zero? What I only have one sexual partner. So what does that mean for me?
Well, so in response to that last part, you're not in high risk group, according to what the CDC is saying, because you're in a monogamous relationship. What one commenter said, Lincoln, what's the alternative to what you're calling, quote, profiling? To refuse to acknowledge the data on who is being affected and merely vaccinate people at random. This would lead to the gay men who urgently need the vaccine and not getting it, and would vastly increase the suffering occurring in our community and would worsen an already serious health crisis. This is a non-question. And somebody else, what are you torn about? You participate in casual sex, dude. If you don't take the vaccine, you're part of the problem. Do you agree with some of the commenters, or do you think there's profiling going on, Lincoln?
Well, do we all know the definition of profiling? There has to be profiling
somebody also
going
questioned
on.
That too. Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? We have to profile. We have to, because that's the way you get to the bottom of a disease. It's an illness. Health. Yeah. So this is something that was released in New York over the weekend. There's a breakdown of the demographic groups that have monkeypox reported in the tri-state area by borough. Manhattan has the most at 562. And the next one is Brooklyn with 251 cases. So if there's 562 cases in Manhattan, you need to profile Manhattan as a high-risk area to live, right? Because that's how many cases there are there. That's not bad. Just so you know, I'll run down just fast numbers. 546 people are between the age of 30 and 39. Only 197 are between 20 and 29, and only one is below 19. And when you go the other direction, between 40 and 49, there's only 253 cases in all of the 5 boroughs.
Wow.
And only 104 cases for 50-year-old men and above. That's it. Okay, gender, 1,068 cases are men. Only 13 are transgender or non-binary. 3 are women. And 8 are unknown. That's why profiling works. Because you break down, only men are getting it. No, let's hurry up and give all the children vaccines for it. It makes no sense. And this is what's really sad, what drives me crazy. Race and ethnicity, I love that word. Asian or Pan-Pacific Islander, 46. Black, 219. Hispanic or Latino, 264. So the blend of Black, Hispanic, and Latino is higher than white, which is 311. And unknown is 244. And sexual orientation, interesting. LGBT plus is 6. It says 6 ... and unknown is 451. That's weird.
Okay, that is weird.
They don't want to give out their sexual orientation. So I will send this link. I'll send this link to you both, and then Steve, you could post it on the site.
Absolutely. And I do think numbers and, if you want to call it profiling, is important.
I think they're different, though.
Well, I I don't know that I've heard anybody newscaster wise. I watch a lot of. I'm a news junkie at the core, and I haven't heard any. Knock on wood, people stigmatize the community at this point, of which that's what I was worried about, and I haven't heard that. Have you guys? And then I want to go on to another story related to this.
I haven't, but that is a slippery slope that kind of worries me, that the profiling will lead to stigmatization. So I hear what you're saying about profiling and making sure that you break things down by demographics, but once
or facts, right?
Okay, yes, but once it starts to turn into a ghettoization of or a stigmatization in a certain group, then I think that is where it needs to actually stop.
No, wait.
And why do you? Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, and why do you say that, Kodi? Because I'm going to answer the question because of our history. What do we have to look back on is what happened with HIV was stigmatization, was calling people out, like that group, even within the community, people within the community towards, say, the leather community. There's a great documentary that I've talked about several times about the Folsom Street Fair. On the whole point of the Folsom Street Fair at the time was to raise money for people with AIDS, and people that were for the Harvey Milk Castro Street Fair did not want to necessarily endorse the Folsom Street Fair, which was it isn't anymore, but at the time it was to raise money for people living with HIV, because they thought it was that community, that BDS community. And so there was stigmatization within our own community, much less the outer ones. So I hear what you're saying is that it can go there. And what do we have to look back is our history.
I agree with you. I think that once it goes so far and where it jumps to the point where you start to sequester people or say this is a problem for just one certain type of person and you no longer want to interact with that type of person, then it becomes a very dangerous mindset for society to be in.
Did you want to say one more thing, Lincoln, before I move on to this other related?
I just think we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. If the S&M community and the really hardcore gay community was so impacted by the virus that they had to stand up and raise money for it, that's because they were the most infected. The focus still has to be put on them, not on the bigotry or racism coming from the outside. Like, we need to focus on our community right now with a monkeypox virus that will not kill you, but is really uncomfortable. And if we don't take care of each other, because it is 99, I just showed you the numbers in New York. It's 92% all us. We can't worry about being profiled for it. We have to be profiled so that we get the money to take care of it.
And I agree with you.
Like, the profile to get the money to take care of it can be used to stigmatize us, but that's not our problem. That's their problem.
That is where I disagree with you. That is where I disagree.
But they're the ones doing. I'm not saying it's not our problem, like we ignore it, but we have to realize that is their problem. They're stigmatizing us for taking care of ourselves. And remember when in the Hasidic community out in Brooklyn, they wouldn't get vaccinated with their kids, and all of a sudden it went. It's the same idea. It's not
it
about.
Definitely is.
It's like. I might have, if my views about that community are short-sighted or limited or ignorant, and it comes out because they are having a vaccination problems, that's the problem with me. Not with you. Do you see what I mean by that?
Yeah.
I taught myself into a circle. I hope I got out.
Not at all. Kodi, final word before I move on.
I agree.
Last word, Kodi. Go on.
That is what our society, we as a society and as a communal group, we need to be wary of that, because it is human nature. And I think that you're looking at it from the positive aspect of it, but we also need to take into account that it can provide negative repercussions.
Well, we have to be responsible for it.
Yeah,
like we 100%. Have to be aware of it, but I'm not going to be limited, but I'm not going to whine about profiling because of it.
Let's see how you guys feel on this related topic, and this might maybe clear up some stuff. After a 2-year hiatus, thanks to COVID, the Up Your Alley, I didn't know it was called Up Your Alley in San Francisco, or the Dory Alley Festival.
Yeah, they changed it recently.
So it's called Up Your Alley. And for those of you that don't know, it's been around not as long as the Folsom Street Fair, but it has the same vibe. It's on Dory Alley per se, correct, Lincoln?
Yeah, I don't know if it is anymore. I think that's why it's now called Up Your Alley.
Okay, maybe that's why
I think they moved it next to Mr. S and the Eagle.
And for those people listening, wondering what this is, it's a smaller BDSM festival that is always been a little bit kinkier than, say, its sister grandfathered Folsom Street Fair. And while the excitement around the popular street fair's return is palpable, so too is the reality that in addition to COVID, there is yet another outbreak to factor in. And while there's every reason to expect that for the thousands of folks who descend on the intersection of Folsom and Dory streets, coming up this past Sunday, July 31st, the fair was a sexy and fun as it's always been. There was flogging, everything, but some people are wondering, was this a good idea, particularly in a city that declared monkeypox a public health emergency? There's a lot of things in this article that people point to that because of COVID, there is the acknowledgement that, like Folsom, and even more so because Up Your Alley is even more BDSM centric, sexualized.
Can I add to that really quick, Steve? I don't want to break your rhythm, but let me just add one thing that for listeners, this is how I always defined it, and I think it'll help. Don't lose your place. Folsom is 80% spectator, 20% participant, in my opinion. And it is spectrum with sexuality, as many women as men and everything else. Dory, to me, or Up Your Alley, has always been 80% participant, 20% spectator. It's much, 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 much smaller, and it's almost all men.
Oh.
So it really is a very different thing than Folsom. So when you were just saying that, I wanted to clarify for everyone listening that it's really a lot smaller than Folsom. It's a random weekend in July. It's not
more like our Folsom East, perhaps, here in New York City.
Maybe, but back, like, you used to see things happening on that street that it's like, wow, we can do that in daylight. Like, maybe we should be arrested. No, I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, what is going on? So that is, and Peter said to me,
handcuffs.
Peter and I went to it pre-pandemic, so 3 years ago. We had a great time there, and when he saw pictures of it on Instagram, he's like, why are they doing that this year of all the events? Sorry to interrupt you.
Not at all. Thanks for airing that in. I went also pre-pandemic and went to the after parties at the Eagle, which was so much fun, and I had a great time. There was apparently plenty of groups to help people navigate their kinky life while maintaining their health, like the San Francisco Department of Public Health was on board, Mission Neighborhood Health Center, UCSF Center for AIDS Prevention, and others were at the festival. Also, many people were saying that it's getting a chance to get out and see people I haven't seen in a while and just socialize, be in gear, and meet some people. Some of the people telling people what to do said that, maybe this year cover up, like wear a shirt and don't have your torso exposed, because as we know, rubbing up against somebody could potentially give you monkeypox. I'm glad that they continued with this festival, and I'm going to leave it up to the individuals that were either vaccinated with either one dose to make educated decisions. Because of COVID, we've been in such a we haven't had a lot of these festivals, and I think this is a great time to get out. I personally have questioned after one dose, should I be going out to my favorite bar here in New York City, also a BDSM cruise bar, Eagle, And I've made this decision to go. Now, I haven't spent as much time in the cruisy area and done what I probably would have liked to have done in the past, but I still wanted to enjoy the music. I still wanted to see my friends and community that I've known and loved and meet new people. And I did do that. So I guess in response to maybe what Peter was suggesting to you, Lincoln, is that I'm glad they didn't just cancel it all together, because at the core, it isn't all about sex. Kodi, you and I and Joe, your boyfriend, went to Folsom East, and no one was sucking my cock or your cock. And
they were sucking cocks, though.
They were sucking cocks. Yeah. And this was a little bit pre-monkeypox outbreak. And in other words, it is possible to not cancel everything and still have the event. And because of what has been going on with COVID and everything, I would hate to cancel everything and give people the mindset to carry on. What are your thoughts, Kodi?
I think that, is this an outdoor festival? I don't know, because
it is.
Okay, the entire time you guys were talking about Dory Alley, all I could think of was Santee Alley. So thank you, Lincoln, because I was like, oh,
clarification.
It's not the same thing. I was so confused. No. So yes, it's an outdoor festival, correct?
Yes.
So they say that monkeypox is a lot less transmissible if you're outside. So I can see that they wouldn't cancel it. I still probably would have kept my tail at home, though, for me personally.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, say what you want to say.
So no. I just really agree with you, Kodi. I looked at some of the Instagram stuff for Mr. S and Dory #UpYourAlley, and it looked like there was plenty of room even in the crowd. It wasn't everyone on top of each other. Okay. It looks like not a ton of people showed up, which is great. That they had a good time. And I agree with you, Steve, that they should still offer it. It did seem like a nice walk around at the Eagle rooftop from what I saw. I'm sure there was behavior happening, good behavior. You know what I mean? But it just seemed more open. It seemed a little less claustrophobic. I hope people still keep having everything in one way or another. But I know here that you guys went to Folsom East. Peter and I came back, and I talked to a lot of my friends that went to IML in Chicago, and they were like, we've seen a few monkeypox things, and people are same crowd, we're not going. So while I was happy at Folsom East happened here, that kind of went through my mind of like, why are we doing that right now? We don't need to. I kiss everyone when I see them. Yeah. And the last thing I need to do, we don't play around. It wouldn't be, for us, it wouldn't be a sexual transmission. It will be someone's hand was somewhere and I touch their hand or I kiss their back, or you know what I mean? And it's just, it was too soon, and now it's even more too soon. But we went to the Eagle 2 weekends in a row. We had a great time, but we did stay on the roof and left early. I don't know. You just shift your behavior, but I do want them to keep going.
I love that. Yeah. And I'm happy that they continued the festival, because I would hate to cancel something like this. It's not at the core, at the description of it, it's not a sex party, where you've mentioned before, Lincoln, many of the play parties here, at least in New York City, and I would imagine in other places as well across the country, are taking a pause. I like to use the word pause, which is good, because during this interim, and I think that's really wise, because that's all that is particularly happening. And what do we know? And education. When you know more, you do better, Maya. And so,
Steve, to your point, I don't want them to stop doing any of this. Like, I don't think any three of us want this, because we're a pro-sexuality podcast that wants everyone to have every party they want to have and have a great time. Where I'm like, well, what happened to the black party? Is that coming back? What happened to the Saint at Large? Because if that never comes back, even as a once every other year thing, that's really sad for that culture. And our culture has been through enough, which I think is why people are so passionate about the profiling or stuff like that, because it feels like another blow to our culture, to who we are. But we decide that, not the forces outside of it. It'll just make us stronger. I really believe that.
Yeah, I guess if we had to finalize it just really quickly to go round robin, it should be pity party. It does suck. I'm just going to say it, that it happened after. I mean, it seems COVID is still around. You have COVID currently as we were recording this podcast right now, Lincoln, but it seemed like there was we were managing that, and it was going to be this truly, we're really not getting our hot girl vax summer that we really have all been waiting for. It's just the new normal is there's all these caveats that keep coming up, and we just have to keep attempting. What were you going to say,
I said,
Kodi?
The new normal just keeps shifting, and it's like we get blow after blow after blow, and not in the best way. That's not how I was looking for my blows, okay?
But hello, it's also called being an adult. I mean,
it's true.
People, our forefathers, our parents went through wars, and they went through famine, and they went through,
perspective. You're saying it's perspective.
We sat home and watched Netflix so that not too many people got COVID, so hospitals weren't overrun. Worse things have had to happen. And again, it's not personal. And living through the AIDS crisis, like we all have in one way or another, you have to just shift that it's not personal. Yeah, it's a virus.
And
a virus doesn't care who you are.
Yeah.
It really, so much compassion. We would not have the compassion for our community and had made the strides we did, God forbid, without that. You know what I mean? Elizabeth Taylor and all those things that happened back in those days when even TV was just getting started. So everyone saw it for the first time. It's crazy.
Love it. All right. We've got to move on to, I am really excited about Neil Patrick Harris's.
Oh my God, I'm so excited you're bringing up this. Yay!
I may binge watch it tonight. I'm so excited about it.
I've seen all these.
Okay, well, we got to get your perspective on it in a sec. There's a couple things that Neil is talking about. Well, we're going to have to hear your instant review in a second. But one of the things Neil had to do for the show, for his character who's getting back into the game after his longtime boyfriend, decides to end everything. And all of a sudden, Neil Patrick Harris's character is single in the scene, and he has to create a dick pic. And so he was talking about it on a recent interview on how choosing a dick pic for the series, he didn't want to use his own dick, and boo. I know, and that's a question that I have for you guys. Would you use your dick pic or not? So he went through, showed a bunch of actual dick pics, and he said it was interesting because we needed something that's normal, average size, but in the scene afterwards, the guy says that it's beautiful, a beautiful penis. So it was kind of this hard area to not choose something that was gargantuan or tiny, but was beautiful, but maybe wasn't his own. By the way, little known fact about Harris, he was previously full frontal in Gone Girl. If you remember that film, I saw it. So, yeah, he showed something, and I wonder, would you show your own dick pic, or would you? Because many female actresses have had to show their own breasts. So, Lincoln, would you show your own dick, or would you go scroll through like Neil Patrick did?
I would show my own dick pic, but I would not be full frontal in a movie. I'd rather have a body double because I'm a grower, not a shower. And if I'm shooting a scene, everything is not on display.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like that answer.
A really great workout. Your penis is not like, hey, I'm here. It's like gone for the winter. So
it's shriveled up. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I've done my gosh.
It does.
So my writer, I don't think that's the right term. Writer is what you want in your dressing room.
Yes.
So I'm already going to the trailer. But beyond that, I would require to take a hot shower because my balls tend to hang lower and relax. Everything's relaxed. And I would say, let's use my own. I'm okay with it. Many women do, and actresses have had to do it for decades. I want to use my own. And I'm also quite proud of my own, my junk. So I would be happy to. What about you, Kodi?
I like Lincoln, am a grower, not a shower. So yes, I would use my own picture. However,
Yep.
I would need a fluffer.
Exactly.
Yeah, bitch, I'm cheating, honey.
Everyone needs a fluffer, trust me.
Yeah. You know why? Because
you would build that into your writer.
Exactly. It would definitely be in the contract somewhere. I need a fluffer. Pay my boyfriend.
That would be Joe,
exactly.
by the way.
Pay my boyfriend. It's another check in the household too. Yes.
Oh, nice. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Yes. But also, my dick pics are probably out there somewhere on the internet anyway.
Oh, they are, but sweetie, they are. I saw them the other day.
Who cares? I mean, yeah. Thank you. Did you put it on the bathroom wall?
I swiped right.
Oh, you swiped right. Thank you.
Well, as we know, the show is produced by Darren Star, Sex and the City fame. And one of the things that Neil stated in a recent interview for Just for Variety podcast, he quote, "I do legitimately feel more comfortable in my skin now than I did even 5 years ago." I love that he says that. I've watched a lot of his interviews beyond this podcast about he is just reclaiming and just standing in his footsteps at his age. I think he's 48. Mm-hmm. And that resonated with me. I also feel legitimately more comfortable in my skin than I did even 5 years ago. Why do I know this? I've looked at pictures of myself 5 years ago recently and thought, why don't I have the abs that I had then? Mm-hmm. But I don't think I understood the body that I had up until my late 40s. It's that much harder for me now to maintain the body that I have, but I'm more comfortable in my skin. Does that make any sense, Lincoln?
Yeah, you're growing into your own, which I think every man does that with every stage, right?
Are you more comfortable in your skin now than even 5 years ago?
That's a very challenging question for me because I lost.
Let's break it down. We got some time here.
Sure. I lost 82 pounds by the time I was 23. I was really heavy, and I fluctuated back and forth with being hyper skinny to being really heavy. And I've done a lot of different eating things that have not been that healthy throughout my life. But I stopped them when I got therapy, moved more, and ate less. Mm-hmm. So that just as a general, move more, eat less, and get some therapy. And I really felt my body in my 30s to 40, and then 45, I felt I was at my peak, but I had so many problems with the hips, and I was in so much pain that while my body looked great, I was hobbling. Like I would stand up and teach a class and my form would be perfect and everything would be awesome. And then I would hunch, try and get home, and couldn't make it up the stairs to lay down.
Oh man.
Like it was just, from a broken ankle. I know what you're talking about.
Really. So then post all the surgery is the bicep. I had my bicep reattached and 3 hips replaced and a lot of surgeries all in 1 year. I thought I was on my road back to recovery and the pandemic hit. And that slowed me down in it even more because my classes have always been what keeps me going. And now that I'm the director at Temple and can teach to the gyms at Temple and also program, I feel like I'm finally flexing that muscle again. And my body's really starting to feel good. And I did I'm on a 21-day eating cleanse right now. I did not know that COVID was going to be part of it. And I'm feeling again like lighter and more within air. And I've been meditating solid every morning for 20 minutes for almost 2 weeks now. And that just changes my entire relationship with my body.
Oh, wow. Wait, tell me again, do you meditate in the morning when you wake up? Because I've been doing 10 minutes and I've been doing it since. Yeah.
Got it. So I've spent decades meditating and I did get off of it to the practice that I was on. I would hit it and miss it. And Peter and I would lie in bed in the morning and meditate together. And then we would both pass out and be late to work and like everything might fall apart. But I need to be.
It's a personal thing too. It's a personal thing too, right?
I mean, we love holding hands when we meditate, and we it's very nice, and we do that from time to time. But I need to go into the Tom of Finland meditation room. I need to sit up straight. I do the 21-day Oprah Deepak challenge. It's an app. I think it's $60 for the whole year, and you have her full catalog of meditations. And a 21-day challenge is literally 3 weeks, 3 times 7, 21, and it's guided 20 minutes every morning. You simply turn it on, shut up, sit down, close your eyes, breathe through your nose, and if you get off of it, you just return your mind to it. If you start thinking about anything else, you just go back to either the beat or the breath. It totally, that's the point of it. And it just cleanses and filters out your thought patterns so that when you are presented with stuff during the day, you're not coming at it without more of a filter, without more of a cleanse.
I am so happy you've been doing that. I've been doing morning when I wake up, pretty much always 10 minutes. And I use it to set an intention. I'm thankful for the day that I've been given, but then I set an intention for the day. And it's really just that sitting in my body, how the first few minutes are really just, I really recommend this too. Sitting in my body and where my body, how it feels, how I'm feeling mentally, whether it's crusty or positive or ignited. I just sit where I'm at. I use a crystal, but I set a tone for the day. And it's really, many of my intentions for the day are being in the moment. And that literally, just that one is so impactful and powerful, or connecting with those I come in contact. And that can mean on this podcast, texting, a phone call with my mother, or my doorman, or whomever, the man on the street, the lady that opened the door, whatever it is. And that is just helped me so much. I can't say it enough. Kodi, though, we got to ask you, though, what do you think of Neil Patrick Harris saying that he feels more comfortable in his skin at 48 now than ever before? And how does that relate or not relate to you?
Well, I love that. I think that first of all, Neil Patrick Harris looks amazing. So
he does.
I aspire to look that great when I am 48 in like 3.5 minutes, but
you got a minute, but yes.
So yeah, I think that's wonderful, and I'm so glad for him, and I really, really am just it inspires me to want to be better as far as I grow. I think that my own body, I've had my challenges. I've always thought I was skinny my entire life. And it's just now that I'm starting to fill out, and I guess my metabolism is slowing down a little bit more, and I'm starting to
all catching up, honey.
I'm getting thicker, and I love it. I think that it's so great, and I love to, I'm going to continue to work out, and I'm going to actually apply some of the things that you guys have mentioned just now, and start meditating in the morning with my boyfriend. He's just came in the hotel right now, and he's leaving because he's like, we're not meditating nothing, but we're gonna meditate.
That's hilarious,
because it's so powerful, and I think that setting your intention during the day really carries on, and I good for you guys, and thank you so much.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk more about that, and not to just get harp on this, but if you are like many of us, as you set the tone earlier, Lincoln, too, with things are crazy right now. I've gone through so many mixed emotions and depression, daily depression, and highs and lows, that this actually sets the tone and is keeping me even and on a path, and keeping me, doing the good work that I want to keep doing. So I guess we can leave it on that. But I don't know, Lincoln, if you might give us like a 1.5 minute review of Uncoupled.
Sure, with
quick,
no spoilers or anything like that.
No spoilers, if you could do that. And the clock starts now.
Okay, all I'm gonna say is it is such a joy to see a fresh television show about a gay man in his 50s in New York City with all of the fabulousness that New York had through the run of Sex in the City. He brings all of that. It's like Sex in the City for gay men.
Mm-hmm.
It's self-esteem issues. It's men talking at a bar. It's grinder talk. It's dick pic talk. It's some of it's a little reaching, controversial, but it's like a modern Will and Grace, a modern Sex in the City, perfectly in our demographic. Ours. It's a Golden Girls of our demographic in the city that the three of us live in. It is a joy.
Oh.
I love Neil Patrick. I love a lot of the Broadway actors that are in it. And I hope it has many, many seasons to come, because it's a great, with all the shows out there that are representing so many things in the world, it's nice just to have a New York gay guy story.
Nice.
I love that.
You hit the trifecta too. Golden Girls, Sex in the City, and I forgot the third
Will
one.
and Grace.
The City,
and Will and Grace.
Will and Grace,
it's like gay education. It's like, I can't tell you enough how it was. We watched it with my best friend who is single in New York right now and in his 30s. And Peter and I went through our era of being single in New York, and I loved it. And I hope people just let it go and love it. Like, just love it, because it's such a great getaway. Especially after all this
exactly what we need.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And I really want to slide in this last topic, because I really want to get your guys' take on this. On TikTok, Queer as Folk actor posted a video who I adore, John Sibley. Did I say that right, Kodi?
Yeah, you got it.
Yes. Okay. I love him. He's on Hacked, the show that I love so much. On TikTok, the Queer as Folk actor posted a video of himself reacting to several contestants in a male beauty pageant. You got to watch this. I'll post this on TAGSPodcast. They came from different countries, and most met with Sibley's lust approval. It really is all these really hot models walking down the runway, and Sibley in his room commenting on how that guy's hot, this guy has a great ass, this guy would do. And one viewer then posted the obvious: the contestants all bear a passing resemblance to Sibley himself. Quote, looks like you're watching yourself, and the more you like, the more they look like you, they said.
Oh, wow.
The observation throws up interesting ideas about male beauty. Do many gay men cultivate their looks to match their own ideas of beauty? ? Or is finding yourself attractive an example of self-acceptance? Sibley took the comment and responded to it, which I love, on TikTok. Quote, interesting. I mean, quote, I would fuck myself. Sibley talking. Quote, like, I know what I give, so I'd like to get what I give. You know what I'm saying? I actually have no shame. If someone's like, your boyfriend looks just like you, yeah, I'm trying to fuck myself, but I can't do it. I can't do that, he continued. Call me cliche. I don't give a fuck. And he lastly said, don't get me wrong, I love all types. I just love men. But if I saw myself walking down the street, I'd be like, let me get in that. He laughs. I don't know if that makes me confident, narcissistic, or what, but here it is. That's the truth. Kodi, I really love his truth about this, because really he was commenting, and sometimes we take these stories out of context. He was really commenting on this contest of men on TikTok, and he was just giving his opinion. Yes, that guy's hot, this guy this. He was really giving a viewer his 2 cents by commenting and saying, yeah, I would fuck myself. Do you agree with him? Would you fuck yourself?
So, okay, I watched this TikTok, right? And he prefaced it by saying different flavors of peanut butter. So, yes, the guys all had the same.
Are there different flavors of peanut butter?
It was hilarious when I heard, because I watched it like 3 times. And the third time when I heard him say different flavors of, because these guys are hot. So, yes, I did watch it 3 times. Yes, I did. And I have no shame. And they all look just like me. But yeah, so of course they all look very similar, and of course they all look like him. And yes, I would fuck myself. There have been so many times I've been in the club where I look across the room, I'm checking some fine guy out, and then I look into his eyes, and he looks the same way that I'm looking, and I'm like, what's going on over here? And it turns out it's a mirror. It's been a mirror the whole time, honey. The color is coming from the inside.
Oh my god!
Wow!
So yes,
a big
maybe
ass. Wow.
it's narcissism, but I take that with a grain of salt, and I say I let it build confidence within me.
So I think that he is a product of the look of the time. John Sillaby is super gorgeous, sexy, hot. I'm so happy for his success. I really am, because I love hacks and I want to watch Queer as Folk. But I'm really happy for his success. I think he's super hot. I think his look is that of a look of today. The beard, the short hair, letting his hair grow on his chest, hairiness is kind of a look of a time. So if you want to call many of the men that were in the video, he's Latino, but many of the men that were in the video were of all sorts of backgrounds, but they had that same today look. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, then you're going to find people that look like you, right? I can't grow the look of the time. In other words, I can't grow that beard thing. So I'm never going to look like anybody that is out there today, kind of thankfully, just because I can't do it. And I think in general, there is an actor out there that I have a crush on that I love, Jay Rodriguez. I've interviewed him in the past. He's currently doing time. He's currently co-hosting on the morning Entertainment morning show, and I text him. I'm like, "You're doing such a great job." I just put it out on Twitter, and he liked it. But I think because of the last name Rodriguez that we share, he's Puerto Rican, I'm Mexican, but we don't look alike at all. But I would be like, "Oh, I can't go for him because we're too similar." I'm not going to put it out there. Not that he would be necessarily interested. I'm just not going to go there. That's where I stand on that.
Okay, but Lincoln, did he answer the question though? I thought the question was
I don't know how we got to Jay Rodriguez. Which, by the way, was he part of the Fab Five, the original?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
He's also in Uncoupled.
Is he really?
Yes, he is.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and
he's one of the Jonathans.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
First of all, I could sum this up because we're almost at an hour.
Right.
We never shut up. First of all, this is why I don't watch TikTok. I will not watch that TikTok bullshit. I think it's crazy.
It's good. I think I like it.
It reminds me of a great story. I was at I've told this before. I was at Bear Week in Provincetown. And I was looking around, and this guy who I'd been chatting with all weekend, he said, Stephen, you're a really handsome guy, but you're never going to find someone here. And I'm like, why? He's like, because everyone here likes to look the same.
Oh, no, girl.
Ooh,
it's true. No, it's true. Like you just said, the look, it's not the beard. It's the look of now. They're all wearing kind of the same shirts. They're all wearing kind of the same tank top. They like to be a community. They like to come together and all look similar. Not the exact same person, not a clone, but all of the same. I was in the corner in like a harness and an eye patch and and like knee boot. Like I don't look. I wasn't.
I'm like you. I'm always out. I'm always on the
right. So
if I'm row over there.
Right. If I'm dressed like Wednesday from the Addams Family, why do I think I'm going to find a date at the event when everyone's dressed like a lumberjack? So I do think there is some truth to people are very attracted to their style, and as far as the beard being the look of today, the beard is the look of any day. Like a handsome man.
Okay, but would you fuck yourself?
Yeah. Well, you didn't answer. No, you should answer first, Steve.
Well, he had said he would over and over again, didn't you? I thought you did.
I don't think he did.
I would fuck Jay. Well, so the one thing that John Sillaby said was, I would fuck myself because I know how I perform in bed. He moves around. And from that standpoint, I would fuck myself because I know what I give in bed. Mm-hmm. So it would be a good sex. From that standpoint, yes, I would. Lincoln.
Since I know what I have to give, I like to investigate what other people are bringing to the table. So I'm going to pass.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. I'll let you
Duly
get away
noted.
with that. That wasn't real. You know what? That was a half answer.
He had the benefit of our response. Okay, anyway.
Y'all did it.
I love it. Are you done, Kodi?
No, huh?
Did you want to say one more thing?
Oh, no. I'm just saying you guys got away with not really answering. You didn't the question, but it's okay. I'm gonna let it go this time.
Listen, you're hitting on yourself in the mirror, so that's a whole nother segment.
You can always follow my horny co-hosts on Instagram. Follow Lincoln at Protein Bakery, also at Mad Lincoln. Follow Mr. Maurice at Mr. Maurice, or he's a life coach at KMD Coaching. And for crying out loud, follow us at TAGSPodcast. You guys, so much fun. Thank you. From Atlantic City to Brooklyn, from New York City. We are here for you. In the meantime, continue having hot gay
sex.
Yeah.